So when you want to start the Salesforce Lightning, what was this Salesforce Lightning? People keep on listening to the terms called Salesforce Lightning. When you go to the Salesforce Lightning, there are three terms what we have. One is Salesforce UI, Salesforce Lightning Experience, Salesforce Lightning Framework, Salesforce Lightning Design System. The moment I keep saying Lightning, the following terms will be listening more and more. Lightning Experience, Lightning Platform, Lightning, Design System. These are the three different stories what we are hearing. Let us look at these three different stories one by one. What is a Lightning Experience? What is a Lightning Framework? What is a Lightning Design Systems? So let us get into this story. Right now, what you are seeing, the Lightning Experience is nothing but the Lightning UI. The Lightning Experience is nothing but the Lightning UI. Now, right now, what we are seeing is the Lightning Experience, the Classic Experience, and the Lightning Experience. Now, the Lightning Experience refers to the UI of the Lightning. How your functionality is represented in the front end, the UI part of the application, represented in the form of Lightning. That's what we are going to call as a Lightning Experience. The UI part of the Lightning. So when you go to the UI, what we have? Lightning page, Lightning components. Lightning page, Lightning components. How the data is displayed. Generally, when you go to the any classic application, in the UI, what do you find? In the UI, you find tabs. We have home page, list view, home page, list view, edit page, detail page. Am I right? If you open any of the object in the classic, what are the views you are going to find? A tab, home page, list view, edit page, detail page. This is the UI of an object in the classic. It is the UI of an object in the classic. Similarly, when you go to the Lightning Experience, how the same object represented in Lightning. So I have some implementations here. How they are implemented in the Lightning. So look at the format. So we had home page. When you go to the home page, the UI format is different here. The classic and Lightning, what is different here? UI format is different. When you open any one of the record, the detail page of the record, the way the detail page of the record is represented, the way related lists are represented, they are different here. Right. So what was this called? Lightning Experience is nothing but Lightning UI. How that object, record home page, list view page, edit page, detail page, how they are represented in your application. That is your Lightning Experience. The UI part of your Lightning. I hope you are good. Okay. Now when you want to look at the list of applications in the classic, what we do, if you want to find a list of application, in the right corner we have a drop down list to show you list of application. In the Lightning Experience, we have a list of application represented with these icons. So how the applications are presented to you, how the applications are displayed to you on your Lightning. That's a Lightning Experience. Classic and Lightning Experience. It is purely UI part of the Lightning. At the back end, the topics which are running are the same. The process builder remain the same. Workflow rule remain the same. Approval process remain the same. OWDs remain the same. Sharing rules remain the same. Okay, your admin settings remain the same. Security settings remain the same. And every concept remains the same. But how the data is presented to you, how that functionality is represented to you in the Lightning is Lightning UI. That Lightning UI we are going to call as Lightning Experience, the built-in format. Okay. Now next, when you have done this, when you generally go to the classic, what are the navigations we have? Course.com, setup, administer, build, deploy, monitor. When you go to the classic, what do we find? Administer, build, deploy, monitor. The same thing when you look at the Lightning Experience, the options what we are going to find, the same option, whatever you are finding in the classic, same options are recategorized. The same options are recategorized. How they are recategorized? Setup, administration, platform tools, like okay, and settings. There we are calling setup, administer, build, deploy, monitor. This is how the options are categorized. In the UI part of the classic, this is how we are able to see. When you go to the Lightning Experience, the Force.com options what we have, we are able to see them in the form of setup, administration, platform tools, settings. The same options are recategorized. The same options are recategorized. The same options are recategorized. I hope you're good. Right. Lightning Framework. What is that Lightning Framework? Basically, it was built on Yura, open source framework. Right. Now, what was that? It is building reusable entities. In the Lightning Framework, we have Lightning Component Framework. Using this Lightning Component Framework, we are building Lightning components. Using the Lightning Framework, we are building Lightning components. What are those Lightning components? They are reusable entities. They are reusable entities. They are called reusable entities. Then I can create a small entities. I can reorganize, assemble, and reuse them as per your requirement. Using the Lightning Framework, we are building what? Lightning components. Using the Lightning Framework, what we are building? Lightning components. Now the components will contain all the scripting elements and everything. Here, Lightning Framework basically used for what? Single page application. Now, generally, if you look at any application, I have a login page. Enter the username, password, click on submit. It takes you to the home page of the Salesforce. When I click on a tab, go to the home page. When I click on new, go to the edit page. When I click on the save, take you to detail page. What was this? It is a collection of multiple pages organized together to form one particular functionality. Now, when you look at the basic classic application, what is happening? I click on account, home page came. Click on new, edit page came. Enter the data, click on save, record gone to the detail page of the record. Click on delete, record deleted, went to the home page. Now, what was this? We have designed multiple pages with the action. The navigation is going from one page to another page. We are navigating from one page to another page to represent our acknowledgements. Once you save, what is our acknowledgement? Represented on different page. Once you edit, acknowledgement is represented on different page. So what we are doing, we are achieving the functionality with the combination of pages. We are designing a group of pages, we are associating this group of pages and meeting your business requirement. But when you go to the Lightning Framework, we build single page application. In the single page application, what we try to do, don't build multiple pages, build single page with multiple components. Build only one page, but the page should contain multiple components. In that multiple components, you decide what should be displayed. Now let us say this is a single page what we have. Now when I click on this, it is not opening a new page. It is opening a new component on the same page. You got my point? It is not navigating to another page. It is opening one more component on the same page, displaying one more component on the same page. Are you getting my point here? So what we are doing, we are putting all the components on the page, deciding which component should be displayed, which component should be hidden. We got a combination of the components. We have designed.
Satish, you mean like?
Come again.
Yeah, Satish, you mean like you extended this page with the
right.
Next page, right?
Right. First, okay, let me make it clear. People, please Do not interrupt while explanation is going on. At the end of the topic,
Okay,
I'll
sorry.
give the time. You can ask your questions. Right? Do not interrupt. At the end of the topic, I'll give the time for your questions. Okay. Now,
Okay, sorry.
right. Look at the point. We have a page. So, in the VF page, what we used to do? Render page block, rendered equal to false, rendered equal to true. What we are doing, when you have a VF page with multiple blocks, I want to display one block when, like, I have a fresher experienced. When you select a fresher, I should ask education details. When you say experienced, I should ask your experience details. Now, which one I have to display depends upon the option what I selected in the pick list I want to display. So, what I am doing, hiding, unhiding the components. This is forcefully we are doing it, right? When you go to the Lightning, now a page, I am going to build only one page, and I am going to add all the components like this, individual components which perform different business functionalities. I am going to put all these components on the page. Now you write a logic, which component should be displayed, which component should be hidden as per the interaction. As per the user interaction, you decide which component should be displayed, which component should be hidden. Are you getting my point here? Are you getting my point here? Right? So what was this Lightning? Single page application. Instead of creating a group of pages and associating them to form a functionality, you create multiple components for every functionality. Okay, every functionality is built like a component. Create a single page, add all the components to the page. As per the user interaction, you decide which component should be displayed, which component should be hidden. I hope you got my point. Now look at this. This page has multiple components. This page has got multiple components. When I interact with this, a new component is getting displayed. Now hide the component. Page is the same, but I was controlling display and hide of components on the page. This is what single page application. Lightning framework will be used to build single page applications. Lightning framework will be used to build single page application. If you want to build single page application, what we require? Lightning components. How these Lightning components are designed? Internally, they are using a Eura framework. What is the framework? Eura framework, which is a open source. Eura framework, which is a open source. I hope you are good with this. Clear for everyone? Right. The next one, third one, Lightning design system. The third one is Lightning design system. Because these are the three terms. The moment I say Lightning, these are the three terms you find: Lightning experience, Lightning platform, and a Lightning design system. When I go to the Lightning design system, it's all about CSS. I told you in the beginning of the Salesforce, we had only components without CSS. We used to manually apply the CSS on the components to get the look and feel of Salesforce Lightning. So what are those CSS here? Look at the point. Now this is how the CSS are defined. SLDS border bottom. See, if I want to create a block with a single line like this, I have to apply all these CSS. Unless I read the complete line, this line and this line, I will not get this line. I am applying a single bar, but you are forced to apply a lot of CSS. Initially, this was the Lightning. In the beginning, this was the Lightning. Now, if I want to create, let me give you. Look at this. If I have to create a blocks like this one after the other, we have a lot of CSS here. We will understand a lot of CSS here. We used to apply a lot of CSS, but now it has become a single component. Lightning layout. If I say Lightning layout, already the structure will be applied. Previously, I used to apply my custom CSS. To get the custom CSS, now I should not worry about which CSS I have to apply, what is the height, width, padding. I should not look at this. So to make it easier, Instead of going for a standard CSS, Salesforce has designed its own design system, Lightning design system, where they have given open source CSS. By using these CSS properties, you'll be able to get a fixed set of properties on the element. That was the initial system. Because the elements doesn't have CSS, so Salesforce has given an open source CSS system and told you apply this, you get this look and feel. But later on, they simplified it and gave the CSS as an inbuilt with the component. Now, when you go to a page block table, are you specifying the row height, row width, header, background color, footer background color? You're not giving. Automatically, we are getting along with the page block table, right? Like this. Now, the Salesforce has given Lightning components with inbuilt CSS. They have applied. Previously, what we used to do, we don't have the CSS. We used to apply manually. That is how the people felt very difficult in implementing Lightning. That's how the people felt very difficult in implementing the Lightning. Later on, as it has simplified, it has coming as inbuilt, people started adapting it. That's how from last 1.5 years or 2 years, the Lightning is growing fast. More number of people started using this. I hope you're good with this. So to get that CSS, what the Salesforce has given, Lightning design system. It is an open CSS, what is offered to apply look and feel of the Lightning. To get the look and feel of the Lightning, we have got Lightning design system. Wherever you want to apply your own custom CSS, I will go to the Lightning design system, look at the corresponding property, apply that property on my element. Even now, we are getting a inbuilt properties, but you don't like that inbuilt property. You want to customize it. Then I need to apply my own CSS. Now, instead of applying a group of CSS properties, go to the Lightning design system. There will be 2-3 classes available. Apply the corresponding classes. The entire set of CSS will be applied. Are you getting? If you want to design your own custom components with your own look and feel, which you don't like, whatever the Salesforce is giving, which you don't like, you want to design your own CSS, then I am coming back to the Lightning design system, looking at the corresponding classes which are given, applying these classes on my elements. I hope you got my point. So what are the 3 properties we received? Lightning experience, Lightning design system, Lightning framework. Okay, these are the regularly used technical terms what we have. The next point, we need to understand 2 more properties. One is creating a domain, second one namespace, third one package. So before getting into the Lightning concept, you should be aware about 3 properties. First property is how do you create domain? Second one, what is a namespace? Third one, what is a package? These are the 3 technical terms which we have to know before we go to the Lightning design system, before we start implementing Lightning. First one, we'll start with packages. So what is a package, boss? What is a package? Package is a collection of package. Package is a collection of elements. When I say element, it can be an object or a field or a formula, validation, or it can be X, Y, Z. Any one of the entity or element which is available in the Salesforce, we can put them in a package. Package is a collection of elements. Package is a collection of elements. Package is a collection of elements. When you are going to the package, there are 2 types of packages what we have. Managed packages and unmanaged packages. So let us assume I have a package here. The package consists of 2 things. Let us say I have some class. The package consists of 2 elements. Then I have some VF page. I have wrapped both of them under one name called capital. and I deliver this to the third party system. When I deliver to this third party system install this package. I have designed a package with one class and one page. I gave the name called capital. I gave this package to third party system. Now this third party system install the package. Whatever the package I gave, this third party system install the package. When they install the package, after installing, they are able to see every element in the package, and also they are able to see the code what I wrote. I gave a package, you install that package. After you have installed that package, you are able to see the code and the elements. What is the code I have written? You are able to see the source code. You are able to see all the elements of the package, and you are able to see the source code of the package. When I was able to see the source code of the package, what I can do, as the code is visible to me, I made some changes on the code. Now, how they are able to? Because the source code is visible to me, I have made the changes on this. Now, once these people installed, can I know this is, let us say, capital info. Now, will the capital info solution know what is the code they are using in their organization? I give my code, but what they have seen, once they are able to see my code, they modified according to their wish. Now, can I tell what is the code that is running in their organization now? Whatever the code I gave, they may use the same way. They may modify the code according to their requirement, because you are able to see the program, you can modify it. Now, let us see a simple example. Developer console I have given. I wrote a classroom examples. Now, if I give permission for you to modify, I gave a username password and I give you development access. Now, when I give a development access, now can I guarantee that students will not modify the code? Now, somebody what they are doing while practicing, they had some doubt, the code they modified and executed. Now, if I give development access to you, I am not sure whether the same examples are there in the account or somebody has modified. Am I right or no? Right? Once the source code is given to you, I won't have any control on the source code, because you are able to see the code. You can make the necessary changes as per your requirement. So, once the package is given to them, if they are able to see the source code, they will modify in whatever the way they want. I don't have any more control on the code what I give. Once I give the code to you, you are able to see the code, you are able to modify. I don't have any more control on the code. That's why it is called unmanaged package. I cannot manage the package what I have given to you, because you are able to see the code, you are modifying as per your choice. I cannot control the code. So, if I give any code in the form of unmanaged package, whichever the organization is installing the package, they will be able to see the source code and they will be modifying as per the requirement. Once I give any code in the form of unmanaged package, if you install it, you will be able to see elements in the package, and also you will be able to see the source code of the elements. Once you are able to see the source code, you can modify it. That is the reason the organization who developed this package has no more control on the package which you installed. That is the reason we are saying unmanaged. The source organization cannot manage the package which is delivered to target. I hope you are good. Next one. If I give it in the form of manager package, if I say manager package, what happened? Once I install, they get the list of elements, but they don't get the source code. Once they install, they know what classes are there in the package, you can use the classes. What pages are there in the package, you can use them. What objects are there in the package, you can use them. But you cannot see the source code. When you cannot see the source code, you cannot modify. Now, if any changes need to be made, who can make it? Again, the same organization. Now, what these people will do? Will make some changes on the package. Who is making? Source organization. right? And they give you a new version, capital 1.1. They raise like capital 1.1, and they are giving this. Now, when they install, the fresh version of the capital will be coming. Now, who has the control to modify the source code? Organization who have built it. That is the reason I say it's a managed package. We who developed manages the package what we have created. The source code in the package is managed by the people who have built the package. So we have managed packages and unmanaged packages. Now you have managed package generally will be getting in unlimited edition. When you go to your developer edition, you go with unmanaged packages. Even on the enterprise, you get unmanaged packages. You want to go with the managed packages, you need to go with minimum unlimited edition. You need to go with the unlimited edition. So managed packages and unmanaged packages. Now, generally, the better option of deploying the Lightning is will be deploying the Lightning components with the help of packages. We prefer to deploy the components of the Lightning with the help of packages. We can deploy using ChainSet, Eclipse, and XYZ format. But optimal solution, optimal procedure for deploying is packages. Optimal procedure of deploying is packages. I hope you are good with this. So first we have seen what is a package. It is a collection of entities or elements. When you say element, anything, any property that you find in the Salesforce will be an element. It can be an object, it can be a workflow, it can be an approval process, it can be a field or a class or a page. Now, packages are classified in two formats. One is managed packages, another one is unmanaged packages. When I say managed package, when the organization, when they install, they only get the elements but not the source code. If any modification need to be done, only the source organization can make a modification, release like a new version. When do I go for managed packages? When I want to sell my services to the third party people. When I want to sell my services to the third party people, I'll go with managed packages. When I want to sell my services to the third party people, I'll go with managed packages. Now, when I want to share the code with all my partners, I'll go with unmanaged packages. Now, tell me some of the examples which already we are using in the Salesforce. Tell me some of the packages which we are already using in the Salesforce. Some of the, Force.com and migration tool is there. We install and migration tool, right? So, look at this.
And we are installing some tools and all. It's the managed package, right?
Exactly, Emma. Exactly. So what was this? And migration tool, data loader bulk. All these are what? Package. They are delivered to you in the form of package. You cannot see what is there in this and migration tool. Now, are you able to see the source code? You will not be able to see the source code. You will not be able to see the source code. You only get the functionalities. You cannot see the source code. You only get the functionalities. You only get the functionalities. Right, boss? I hope you are good with this example. Good with this? Okay. Now, even when you go to AppExchange, for your practice purpose, you can use a couple of applications. Look at this. Now, you got an application here. Now, these applications are delivered in the form of managed or unmanaged. When they say managed packages, when you go to these applications in the AppExchange, you find Salesforce Labs. Now, when you go to Salesforce Lab XAS, now there are some applications which Salesforce is providing you. Recruitment app, this type of application they are giving. When you install that application, you also get what? Source code. You also get what? Source code. Then we what a name called, what is that? There is a Salesforce Lab XAS. You can give. your Salesforce is providing trial exercises and giving you. They're given in the form of unmanaged packages. When you install them along with the application, charter and flow rules, unmanaged package. When you install this, we get a source code. When you're practicing the development, we can install these unmanaged packages so that you can see the application and also you can see the source code. You can re-implement their functionalities. This is what we suggest to the people when they practice that, when they're running the development classes. When you run the development classes, what you can do, you can go to App Exchange, see unmanaged packages which are there, install it. So you get an application along with the source code. Look at the application, understand the objects, you find the objects, fields and everything. You recreate. If you got stuck up, source code is available. You can go through the source code and practice it. This is what? Unmanaged package. But most of the applications in the App Exchange are going to be managed packages. Once you install, you only get the functionality but not the code. Once my code is out, I don't need you. Am I right, boss? So managed packages and unmanaged packages. Let us get into the next one. We have namespace. What is this namespace? Now, let us take
There is one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before name, like you are saying managed package. So my doubt is like we are working in the development environment, and if we are going to shift our code from development environment to testing environment. So in that case, like we are able to see our code in testing environment or not?
See,
because this is a managed package.
Now we create the packages in the developers in the sandboxes we are going to create. If if you are taking a code back into from the production I have taken into the sandbox. Here's a question. There is a managed package installed in the production. Now I have refreshed my sandbox. I already have a sandbox. Okay, I installed some third-party managed package in my production, right? Then I have refreshed my sandbox. When I refresh my sandbox, the package what I install will be coming to the sandbox. Now, will I be able to see the source code of the package or not? See, when the managed package is installed in the production, you are not able to see the source code. Whatever you are able to see in the production, the same thing you will be able to see in the sandbox. In the production, you cannot see the source code. Then obviously in the sandbox also, you will not be able to see the source code. I hope you got my
that I understood. Like packages, like I developed one class and one Visual Force page, and the same you make the package and put in development environment or testing environment.
See.
So there I can see or not. That is a question.
2 point. Look at the points here. This is a production.
Okay.
This is sandbox. Now, here I created a code here, page 1, page 2. With the help of this, I created a package. I created as a managed package. You install this managed package anywhere, source code will not be visible. But in the sandbox, where did you write the program? Where did you write the program? I wrote the program in the sandbox only. No, my code will not be lost. Right?
Yeah.
My code I have developed a sandbox. My code I have written in the sandbox only. From this code only I created a package. But the source code is with me, right? I only designed the source code. Now the question you should ask, let us say this managed package installed here. The same managed package I install here. The same managed package I install here. Then I refresh the sandbox.
Okay.
Now, when I refresh the sandbox, this page 1, page 2 is not deployed in the production. The source code of page 1, page 2 is not deployed. When you refresh the sandbox.
Okay.
I hope you got my point.
Yes. So one more question, like I am a developer.
Let me finish. Now, this is not used for deployment the code from one arc to another. This is for sharing the functionality from one arc to another arc. We want to develop some functionality which we want to share with other arcs of our organization. Then we go for packaging. So we don't use the packaging purely for deployment. Okay. For deploying, this is not right. In the Lightning concept I told, if you want to design and give to some third-party arcs, we deliver to them in the form of packages.
Okay.
Now it is not like
Okay.
sandbox to production deployment, we always go with the packages. This is not the right thing. Right. So we are using to deliver our code to other arcs of our organization. Now generally, if I want to deploy from sandbox to production, I'll use change set OK. What is the advantage of going for an ANT? Any arc to any arc. Right? Any arc to any arc. But if you take a sandbox, production, change set, only the sandbox of your organization to production. But when I want to deploy from one arc of my, okay, Salesforce one arc is a production. Salesforce another arc, it is also a production. If you want to deploy the code, I cannot use a change set. Then I will be using a concept like ANT or Eclipse. In that context, I told, instead of deploying using an ANT or a change set, you can deploy the Lightning components using a package. That was my intention. I hope you got my point. Now, if you are trying to deploy within the sandbox to production, the option what we have is not the packages. We are going to use the regular ANT migration, Eclipse, or your change sets. I hope you got my point. Now we are trying to discuss when you want to transfer the code from one production to another production, or sandbox of one arc to production of another arc, production of another one. Now within the same organization, within the same production and sandboxes, if you want to deploy, it's not a packages which we use. It's a deployment procedures which we use. Right? If you want to deliver any functionality of one arc to another arc production, then the better choice is package. Is that was clear? You got my point? So this is not the packaging concept. If this is a production, this is a sandbox of the same organization, you will not deploy using packages. Right. Now, if it is another arc, this is production 1, this is production 2. Then I will prefer to go with the deploying the code from one production to another production. Or this sandbox belongs to this arc. From here I want to deploy. Deliver the code. Right? Are you clear? Within the organization, we prefer to go with the deployment procedures. So that's my intention of saying Lightning components are deployed using packages. Is that was clear? Right, Amma? Any other queries from your end?
No.
I hope everybody has got the concept of package. Right? Okay. Now next one. We are going for a concept of namespace. What is this namespace? Now, I have message. In the Apex programming, tell me where we are using this message. Apex page.message we have. Okay, and we are using the same message in different context. We are using the same class called message. Now tell me, when I say message, is it referring to the message of the Apex page messages, or is it referring to the class? The same name I may use in multiple instances, or else let me give you the same concept of package. This is a production. Right. Already they have developed some classes. They had a class. Account details. These are the classes which are available on my production. Now, Capital Info Solution developed one tool. I developed a tool. This is an advanced tool for order management. This is an advanced tool for order management. Now, in my tool, what are the names of the classes I gave? I also gave a name called class details, because that's my org. This is your org. Now, this is a LIC. They have designed their own classes. In my org, I have designed account details, order tracking. I have designed. The tool contains, I have developed a package. If you use this package, it is very easy for you to track the orders. Now in my package, what I have? Account details, order detail, okay, order tracking. Now LIC people purchase this package, they install this package. When they install the package, these two classes are installed. When these two classes are installed, if somebody is calling account details, which account details you are calling? Is it the account details which was designed by LIC, or is it account details which was designed by Capital Info? Now
LIC.
there is a conflict between naming convention, because there are two things which have the same name. Now there's two elements which have same name. To remove this naming conflicts, when I say this, both of them have same name, so I have a conflict. There is a conflict of name, naming convention conflict. Naming convention conflict. When I say Ravi, there are two people in the same classroom with the Ravi. Now because it's a combination of multiple batches, now there are two students with the name of Ravi. When I say Ravi, both of them are going to respond. But how do you remove the conflict? I say surname Ravi. The surname is going to remove the conflict between these two people. Am I right? Similarly, when you are designing a package, if you are designing a program, you are using these classes only within your organization, no problem. When you want to deliver these programs to some other org, you are selling this tool to some other org, some other production is installing these programs what you wrote, then there is a possibility of naming confusion. Then they say create a naming convention. So I told Capital. Now when you want to refer me with my naming convention. Like how we are using your surname, here also we are using. Now how these two elements are referred? Capital dot account details. Refer to the account details from Capital. Refer to the order tracking from Capital. When I say account details, it is LIC. When I say Capital dot account details, refer to the account details from Capital. I hope you got my point. Right? So to have this, we are giving naming convention. The naming convention namespace is required. To avoid the naming conflicts, we are creating a namespace. And that namespace is mandatory when you want to deliver your code to some other organization. When you want to deliver this code to third-party organizations, it is a must that you have to create namespace. When you want to deliver the code to third-party systems, it is a must that you have to create a namespace. If you want to use that code only within your organization, it is not mandatory that you have to create a namespace. If you want to use the code only within your organization, namespace is not mandatory. But when you want to deliver this code to third-party people, there is a possibility of naming conflict. To avoid this naming conflict, you have to create a namespace in your organization and deliver the code to third-party systems. I hope you are good. So what is the purpose of this namespace? To remove the conflict. To remove the conflict. I hope you are good. I hope you are good with this. Right. Now look at the point. We have Apex Pages dot. Or we have now we also have a class called page. Now what is that Apex Pages dot page? What is that page? The definitions are changed. We are referring to the page of Apex Pages. We are referring to the class of page. That's how. What is this called? Namespace. Now you say system dot what is the system dot today? Referring to the today from system. We are calling messaging dot message. All the email services are available with the namespace called message. When you are making inbound services or outbound services, what we are using? Messaging dot single email message, messaging dot mass email message, messaging dot inbound email, messaging dot inbound email result. all are coming with a namespace called message. Now, because Salesforce is giving that service to all the people who are taking a force.com. Whoever is taking a force.com, for them it is giving a API services of email services. Now, there should not be any conflict. That is the reason they told my email services are coming with the namespace called messaging. My database services are coming with a name called database. Database. Right? Are you getting my point? Now, all my JSON services are coming with the system. My XML services are coming with the DOM. We have DOM dot, system dot, database dot, Apex pages dot. All these are what? Namespaces. Are you clear about it? So all the functionalities which are of Simtech, which are built for a particular requirement, we are going to wrap them under one namespace. Right? It is going to avoid naming conflict. It is going to avoid naming conflict. Is it a mandatory that you have to create a namespace? It is not mandatory. When it is mandatory, if you want to deliver your code to third-party systems, then it is mandatory to go for namespace. Otherwise, it is not mandatory to go for a namespace. Right? If I don't give any namespace, system will create its own namespace, which is called C. If you don't define any namespace, system will create its own namespace. What was that called? C. Now tell me one example where we have encountered this C in your classic. In the classic, where did you encounter this C?
Call the component.
Custom components.
When you are designing custom component, we used to call C colon, right? Why C colon? Because you have not created any namespace. When you design, I think this okay. When you create a Visual Force component, I just designed this. Now, if you want to call this, how you are calling? If you want to call, how you are calling? C colon. Why that C? No namespace. Now, why you are getting Apex here? Namespace. That Apex is a namespace. Now, when you are using a flows and plugins, what is that flow? Namespace. That interview element was defined in the namespace called flow. When you go to charter, it is a namespace. If you don't define any namespace, default namespace is C. I hope you are clear. Because I was not delivering the code to any other third-party systems, I was not creating any namespace. Right? But if you want to deliver, it is must that you have to create namespace for your organization. I hope you got my point. Clear for everyone? Okay. Now the question is, coming in. Now, even this Apex is what? Namespace. Now, then again I have to go back to integration work. You say XML NS, right? What is that XML NS? Namespace. Now, what is that prefixed with? Now, right? Now, when I am designing my own element, I was supposed to give. Right. So, Visual Force is also an Apex code, but it's represented in the form of tags. Okay. Let us not get too much into it, but practically that Apex is also a namespace. Okay. All right. Come back to the story. How do you design? Is that was clear for everyone? Am I clear? So, how do you create a namespace? setup, you go with packages. Where is the package available? Create packages. The packages, what type of packages are allowed? Management. Now what is the prefix? Click on edit. I think I connected this with the dev hub. Okay. I just connected with the DX there. So let me go to another alt. Let me try to create a trial account for him, because we are going to use separate account for implementation. Let me quickly create that. So all your programs will be there in this trial account. I just enable the domain name also.
Sir, is it recommended to create one more Lightning account, or it will be better to switch from Lightning to Classic and
See,
vice?
I don't want to enable the domain name for my existing batches, because their students are accessing without domain name. That's the reason I'm creating a trial account. If you can practice on the same account what you are doing.
Thank you, sir.
So I'll share the password in the next session with the corresponding theory, whatever I've done. Right. So what we are doing, setup, build, create packages. Now look at this. So they say once it is enabled, you cannot disable it. Once it is enabled, you cannot disable it. So don't create any namespace till you complete the course, then you can try it. Okay, because everything we have to refer with namespace dot element, namespace dot variable, namespace dot, right? So how do you check out? Packages, continue, enter the namespace, check the availability, available, review my selection, then click on. When I click on save, namespace will be created. So what did I do? Setup, build, create packages, developer settings, edit, right. Next, go to the continue, enter the namespace, check the availability, then review my selection, click on save. That will create a namespace for you. Once your namespace is created, everything you are supposed to refer with namespace only, right? I hope you have got. This is an option. It is not mandatory. It is an option. So next one. The third point what we require. We have seen the package. We have seen the namespace. Third one what we require is a domain name. Third one what I require is domain name. If you want to test your Lightning functionalities, it is a must that you have to create a domain name. Namespace is an optional, package is an optional, but domain is mandatory. If you want to check your Lightning code without creating a domain name, we cannot check it. Without creating a domain name, we cannot execute the Lightning codes. It is a must that we have to create domain name. So how you create? Setup, administer, domain management, my domain, check the availability, the developer edition. So David, register the domain. So we have registered the domain. So let's wait for the file. Once it is uploaded, so we have created the domain here. So what are the prerequisites we have? The three technical terms that we have seen now. One is the packages, namespace, domain name. So it takes some time before so I'll see just whether I have to type it or it's already available. Okay. Let me check whether it's enabled or not. So the file has to be enabled. Meanwhile, let me type the code for you. So notes will be available to you in my Visualforce pages. I'll be typing the notes along with the class because it's being a first session. I have not typed the notes yet. Next Saturday, I'll be giving the username password of this account. You people can log in and access the notes. So everything that I'm going to explain, I'm going to type it in the account, and the programs also going to be there in the same account. I'll share this username password on the next Saturday. Right. Once the batch is finalized, I'll be giving the username password. So all the notes you can take it. No need of taking any running notes. I'll be typing the notes here. Right. If I'm not putting on the document, I'll be sharing the material or I'll be typing the notes on the corresponding topic. Every topic I take, either I'll be typing the notes on the developer console or I'll be sharing the notes in the chat. Anyone I'll be doing it. Okay. So I'll give the username password in the next session. Let's wait for the file. right? Meanwhile, we are supposed to ensure that one particular option is enabled. So here we have there's a problem with the lightning. The problem is if you maintain the cache, generally the pages what will happen, cache will be maintained so that the reloading will be faster. So we need to avoid that cache. Why? Because the changes what you make, they will not be reflected faster. If you want the changes what you made to be reflected faster in the lightning, we have to disable the cache. If you don't disable the cache, the old data will be there. As okay, when I'm opening the page or refreshing the page, same old data will come. It takes more time for you to get the latest data. So we need to disable the cache. We need to disable the cache. With respect to the example, I will show you. Okay. Now, once the domain name is enabled, what is the advantages that you are going to get? It takes some time. Let me cover some points in the class. Now, once the domain name is enabled, what is the advantages that we are going to get? Right? Once the domain name is enabled, if you want to go for authentication providers, let us say I want to log into the Salesforce with my LinkedIn username password. I want to log into my Salesforce account with my LinkedIn username password. Now, most of the websites when you open they say log in with the Gmail, log in with the Google Plus, log in with Facebook. I find Amazon account, but they say log in with the Google Plus account. The site is Amazon, but they say log in with the Gmail account. Now, this is called authentication providers. If you want to apply any authentication concepts on the Salesforce, domain name is a must. If you want to apply a single sign-on, domain name is a must. Now, most of the times when I take a communities, I want the customer to log in. I don't want to generate a username for a customer. I don't want to generate a username with a customer. I want the customer to log in with the Gmail ID what he has. I have a customer community. I have a public website or a public page where I don't want a customer to log in with my username password what I shared. Username password generated by the Salesforce. I want the customer to log in with the procedure what he want. He is very much comfortable with login with the Gmail. Let him log in with Gmail. Then I have to provide what? A concept of authentication providers. If I have to provide a concept of single sign-on, identity provider, authentication providing, then it is a must that we need to go for domain name in the classic. For Lightning, domain name is a must. In the classic, domain name is not must. But if you want to go with single sign-on concept, authentication provider, identity provider, domain name is a must. Right. Yeah. So once you got this domain enabled, once the domain name is enabled, login. Click on the login button. So the URL is modified to Lightning 0107. Then deploy to, so that URL is available to all the users. Now I want to say, boss, every user should log in with only Lightning 0107. Don't use login.salesforce.com. Once I create my domain name, I don't want the users to log in with login.salesforce.com. I want the people to log in with only this URL. Go to domain settings. Click on edit. What was it? Prevent login from login.salesforce.com. So when I say this, then what happened? Nobody can log into my account with login.salesforce.com. You can only log in with lightning0107.com. Next one. Again, we have authentication and configuration. This is what I told you. Now, if you want the people to log in with a LinkedIn, with a Facebook, with a Gmail, I have to create authentication providers. Then those list will be visible here. That list will be visible here. Log in with LinkedIn, log in with the Gmail, log in with Facebook. Select them and save it. When I select them and save it, user can log into the Salesforce using any one of the system. So if you want to create any authentication providers, their data will be available here. Okay. In case you have done the single sign-on concept or authentication, you will be knowing that format here. Okay. So what was this? Domain name creation. Why you are creating? It is a must that domain name should be created to execute any one of the Lightning program. So these are the three prerequisites which we need to understand. What are they? Packages, namespace, and domain. Out of all these three, what is mandatory? Domain is mandatory. Other two are optional. If I want to deliver the code to the third party, namespace is also mandatory. I hope you are good. Am I good? If you want to deliver the code from one org to another org, what is the best option? Packages are the best option for delivering the code to third parties instead of deployment procedure. We can deploy from production 1 to production 2. But instead of deploying from 1 to 2, it is better to create a package and deliver it. I hope you are good. So this is the quick introduction about the basics of the Lightning. So what are the technical terms? Lightning experience, Lightning framework, Lightning design system. Lightning experience is UI. Lightning framework is your framework which is used to design your components. Right. Next, we have Lightning design system. It is an open source CSS given to you to apply and get look and feel of your Lightning. Then we have the prerequisites before we go to Lightning development: packages, namespace, domain name. I hope you are good. The theoretical information I'll be sharing to you. Next Saturday, I'll be giving the username password. You can log into my account and access the notes. Right? So once the batch is finalized by next Saturday, I'll be sharing my username password. You can log into my account and access the materials and notes. Right, boss? Chalo. That's all from my end. And next Saturday, the class is going to be, from next Saturday, the class is going to be 5:30 p.m. Okay. We say 5 o'clock, but by the time we start the class, it will be 5:30. 5:30 to the timings are fixed. Sunday, we can make, if 8 is okay, we can make it 8 to 10:30. There may be a delay of 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, that's why I say 8:30 to 10:30. Okay. So basically, this is the timings for the classes, and they are fixed. The timings are fixed. So we'll meet back again on Saturday. Right. Any other queries you have regarding the course, you can get them clarified. I just given an overview of what we are going to see and basics I have given. Yes, sir.
Regarding the recordings, how would it be available? Recordings?
1 minute, Amma. Yeah. How many domains are you can create? One domain, Amma. One domain for that. Okay. One domain only can create. You can only create one domain. Okay. Now videos will be available on satishmala.in. These videos will be available on satishmala.in. You require a username password to access my video. So communicate with the front desk people. Once you complete the admission process, they give username password. You will be able to access my videos from satishmala.in. And a video will be available. Saturday and Sunday video will be posted on Monday. On Monday, I'll be posting it. If time permits, I'll post it on the Sunday. If not, Monday will be available. By default, by Monday, I'll be posting it. I'll see if they can be converted. I'll be posting on Sunday itself. The video need to be converted. If I was able to convert them by Sunday, I'll post it. Otherwise, by Monday, they'll be available. You can log into my site. You can click on Lightning. You'll be finding your batch. And your batch videos will be with a 0107. So, it's a 0107 is the batch number for a batch number on which your videos will be available. Right.
Satish, I have a few questions.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, coming to the rendering and re-rendering, in Classic we use a rendered or re-render attribute.
Okay.
To just refresh a specific block
That's
based
all.
on the selection.
Okay. That's all from my
Yeah,
end for the classroom
but
people.
in,
Yeah, you can push on. Yes.
yeah, but in Lightning, so you said a Lightning base has a multiple components, and how can we render? Let's say there are 10 components in a
Yes.
single page.
There's a concept of
Oh,
event.
I would like.
This concept. Still, if you have any custom functionality to enter, still we have. Basically, we achieve that functionality using this event handling, application level events, and component level events. This will help you to achieve what you do. Or else we have renderer, re-renderer, before renderer, after renderer. There's some topics like this.
Okay, okay. So even based on the component name, we have to
Not component
go
name.
for render.
It's not component. There's a concept called events. Events concept is there. Using that concept, we'll be able to transfer the control to other components or reload the other components.
Okay, okay. So another question is, in Lightning framework, we are using a framework, another framework or a framework. Is it the Salesforce technology
No,
or
it's open source. Open source, but out of that open source, Salesforce has built by using that open source. Salesforce has built some couple of components.
okay?
Aura
So
framework is
which means
open source.
Aura can be used in other technology also, right?
Number of technologies. It is used in number of technologies.
Okay. And another question is, so you said that the manager package can be created in only unlimited edition. So
Yes,
in case if it is an enterprise edition, can't we create it?
you can't create it.
And what are the different ways of different deployment methods to deploy the Lightning components? Is it the same change set like
Same
Eclipse?
concept what we use. Same concept what we use for regular classic, we use for development. For deployment, okay. For Lightning also we use the same.
Okay. So let's say there are n number of users in Salesforce account. How can we restrict the Lightning access to only few
See,
people
now the
having
question.
access to others?
Now it's a common question. How do you restrict in the classic? How do you restrict in the classic?
Yeah. And profile.
The same thing we are going to use here,
User detail page and more.
right? We have profiles, we have restrictions. See, the security mechanism, whatever you want to restrict, whatever is that is there in the classic, it still remains the same.
Okay.
Now this is your enterprise edition. What I
Yeah.
opened is enterprise edition. What is the message you got?
Unmanageable. Yes.
Right. Right, boss.
Let's say, yeah, one more question. Sorry. So I built an application using a common namespace. Let's say colon C. Okay. So let's say I would like to deploy the same application to the third party. So do I have to go to
See,
each element and modifying the?
see, the major point here is when you deliver, when you're building something, when you're building a product, some XYZ product, when you want to build a product which you want to sell to other people, then only you build with the namespace. Or else multiple orgs are working. Now let us say lead is handled by one Salesforce org, opportunity is handled by one Salesforce org, order management is handled by one Salesforce org. They're merging all this into a single instance. Then every org is going to have they're going to create their own namespace and pull the code. In your org, once you create a namespace, if you want to deliver them to any other organization, it is a must. The namespace has to be created. Generally, when do you create a namespace? When you want to deliver the code. Why are you delivering the code to other systems? You're selling it, right?
Yeah, initially the namespace is not created and the development
See,
part is done later.
once the point you need to understand here is once the namespace is created, by default it is applied on the existing elements.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
while as a developer organization, you will not create extra things. The people who are consuming, they have to use it that way. I do the regular development only. The consumption, the people who are consuming, they have to use namespace and use it. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Any other queries from class online people?
Satish, I have one question. Sir.
Go ahead, Amma.
Satish, you were talking about the Lightning design system, right?
Yes.
So can I, if I inherit custom styling plus the SLDS styling, does it consider the custom styling on the Visual Force page?
Obviously, it was supposed to. Now, standard one they are giving a standard one. Now, when I don't want the standard one, I can go with my own format. You cannot restrict me with
Okay. What I'm saying is, Satish, imagine in the styling, like in the SLDS styling, the position is mentioned as right, and in the custom styling, I'm mentioning it as left or something. So which takes the priority?
Default is there. Default properties are there.
Okay.
Now I have designed my properties, custom properties. Why would you design a custom properties?
Just to enhance my view.
Override the standard properties only.
Yes.
That's the same thing. Which will dominate now?
Okay. The custom
Now,
ones.
by default, there will be some default properties which are given by SLDS. Okay, when I don't want those properties only, I'll design my custom property, right?
Got it. Yes. Sure. And one more, Satish, you were talking about the managed packages, right?
Yes.
Like like if I make this change, like first I installed the first managed package and it went well, and now you made a change and released the second version. So I have to install it to get the new changes in, right?
Exactly.
It is like okay.
It's just like
I haven't done that.
now you got a mobile phone, right? You get a message that new version is available. Right? Now, unless you install it, it will not change to new version, right? You are getting a notification that the source
done
code
by
is
the third party.
exactly.
Okay.
Now there's let's say Samsung has developed a new version. They send a message to you. New version of OS is available. Now whether you update it or not is your choice. If you want to update, you being a third party system, you have to update it. It's not the Samsung. Samsung already developed and send a message to you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Satish.
Hi Satish. I have another doubt.
Yes.
So you have said like in the managed package, actually when we deploy to the production from the sandbox, so only the functionality, only the UI, you can see the changes what we have developed. We can't see the code, right? If the code is not deployed, so how can we see the changes that are made in the UI?
Chandrakant, that's what I told. You are not going to use packages for deployment from sandbox to production. Right? That's not the way. When you want to deploy the code from one production to another production, one or to another production arc, there packaging is the concept which you have to use for deployment. Now, if I have LIC production, and LIC sandbox, I will not use a packaging for deployment.
Okay.
Now I told from LIC organization you have some developer some thing as a product you develop or some functionality or tool you develop. Now you want to sell this tool to some third party. Now LIC production is there. Now IBM developed a tool, sir, code management. Right. Now, where they developed in the production of IBM, they had a code management. They created a package called code management package. If they want to deliver this code management package to LIC, when they want to give this code management functionality to LIC, they create a package called code management. Then they give this package to LIC. Got my point? Now, if there's delivered between the organization, okay, outside the organization, then we go for packages. Within the organization for sandbox production, we go with regular deployment. Okay. Now, code delivered outside your organization, third party system. Okay. ABC to third party. We can deliver ABC to third party by using Ant, by using Eclipse, by using migration tools Any migration tools you can use this out. Now I say when you're transferring from ABC Arc to third party tool, instead of all this, the package is the good choice. That's what I told. It is not between ABC production to ABC sandbox. I hope you got my point.
Yeah, got it.
Satish, let's say I have a package and let's say that is an unmanaged package and installed in third party. So they have the possibility, right? So then in the source organization, I have modified some code and created a managed package. And when I deploy the same to the third party, then will it override or will it create two different versions?
It's a two different version, right? The naming is different, versioning is different. See, now your package will have a name, your package will have a version. So version will be different. For every version, there will be a separate ID.
Correct. So in that case, the components are existed two times, one with namespace and one without namespace, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right, Amma.
Satish, one question.
Yeah, go ahead, Amma.
Yeah, I mean, initially I haven't created any namespace in my arc. Later I had to. So in this regards, there will be any impact on the existing code? Do we need to make any changes?
The point is, page 1, page 2. This is the code of your organization. When you create a namespace, if the namespace is applied for all these elements, you will not make any changes on this. By default, they will be applied. When you are trying to call them, then we do, okay, next program, what you ensure, what you are writing, will ensure that the namespace is applied before the element. But the existing code will be automatically applied. For the existing code, automatically namespace will be applied. If you are creating anything in the organization, namespace will be automatically appended. You do not do it manually. When you are delivering to the third party, they have to call it manually. For you, it is automatically applied. I hope you got my point.
Okay. Yes.
Right.
Satish, hello, Satish.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the difference between development and Lightning is instead of Visual Force, we'll use Lightning. That's right.
See, internal architecture itself is changing, right? The MVC architecture itself is different.
Oh.
Because of the architecture, difference in architecture, performances are changing.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, boss.
But admin point of view?
Admin point of view, everything is same except UI. Your Lightning experience is changing.
Okay.
Except the Lightning UI, everything is same. Okay. Right.
Thanks.
Right. So that's all from my end. See you all in the next session.
Thank you, Satish.
Right.